Hello and welcome to assignment number 4, 3D modeling using AutoCAD and SketchUp. The first thing we're going to do is navigate to our Blackboard assignment page, and you're going to click on the resources files. When you get this dialog box, you're going to select Open in Drive, and you're going to download each of these. Alright, so allow that. And what I want to do is I'm going to create a folder for this project. I'm going to go back to my library and just copy over my project folder template, and this is going to be .3D model. I'll do a cap lot. Model with AutoCAD and SketchUp. Okay. So now I have my kind of parent folders waiting for me already, so that's nice. I have my SketchUp stuff. So I'm going to navigate to my downloads, and my SketchUp template. I'm just going to pull over into SketchUp. I'm going to double click on these and open these components up, and go into the SketchUp here. I have a components folder. I'm just going to select everything, copy, and just dump them here just to be clean. And textures, the same thing. I'm going to go to my textures that I have for this project and copy, come over here into the textures and just drop these in. I'm going to go back here and go to my AutoCAD now. I know that I have an AutoCAD file in my downloads as well. I don't see that. So let me go back here and make sure that this base model gets downloaded as well. Okay. Now when I go back into my downloads, there goes the base model, and I want to make sure that I'm on my desktop here in AutoCAD. I'm just going to drag that into my AutoCAD. Okay. Great. So now we're ready to work. We have all our stuff kind of situated where it needs to be, and we'll start working from our established folder. So I'm going to minimize that for now. I'm going to the folder that we created. I'm going to the AutoCAD and open the base model DWG up. Alright, so now you have the file open. You'll see that the edges layers are on, but I'm just going to turn everything on so you can see it. So it's a completed model. All the plant materials are blocks. I've actually created a separate layer for each plant material to make it easier to render in Photoshop, and also to help better organize the file when we get into SketchUp. Same model we have been working on though. So what I want to do is first I want to do a lay ISO, and make sure that when you type in lay ISO too, that you hit S for settings and that off is selected. And I just want to select my joints and the edges, and also let me turn back on design extents as well. Okay, so I'm going to select that information, hit W, a W block will appear, hit enter. I'm going to go browse, and I'm going to navigate to my desktop here. It was weird. Go into AutoCAD. I'm going to do a new folder. I'm going to call this W blocks. New folder, I'm going to call it W blocks. Okay. Now in this, I'm going to call this my edges and control joints, or these are score for score joints. Okay, and right block. I'm gonna do a lay, lay on. I'm gonna lay ISO. Really my site furnishing. And let me do this all on the same piece. So that, and that. Okay. Select those. W block, the same thing, browse. I'm gonna call this site furnishing. Right block. And lay on. This time I'm gonna lay freeze, and I just want to freeze everything pretty much but my plant material. It must be on that layer. And I don't need the hatches either. Whoops, Control Z to go back. Alright. And I'll just put myself on one of the plants and make sure that I freeze also that information. Okay, so there's all my plant material. So I'm going to grab all that and do W block, browse, and I'm going to call this plant material and right block. Okay, so I don't need that anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and close that. Don't need to save it. Okay. Let's close AutoCAD all the way to make sure you have all the processing capability applied to SketchUp. And I'm going to go into go into the SketchUp folder we created and go to SketchUp template. I'm going to make sure all these windows are here, so make sure all these dialog boxes are up, the entity info, layers, style, scene, shadow settings, soften, smooth edges. Don't really need components. Make sure these are up though. And when they are up, you'll put them up here by looking through the windows and just turning them on. You want to go to shadow settings for this and just say use sun for shading. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of our character. I'm going to say file, import. Make sure AutoCAD file DWG.DXF is there, and I'm going to navigate to that folder we just created into AutoCAD, W blocks, and I'm going to bring in my edges and score joints first. Okay, and my selection tool, and kind of zoom extend, so I'm going to tilt over. Okay. Now what we need to do is turn these into faces. There is a YouTube video. Let me go to YouTube, my page. On the NCAT Land Art page under LDR 171 Design Drawing 2, there is a video on SketchUp extensions. Watch this video, download the extensions, follow the instructions so that you can follow along in this portion. It shows you here as well, it gives you the links to each extension I'm referencing. Alright, so let me close that out. So I'm going to select this information and the line work, and I'm on layer 0. Let me show you that. I'm on layer 0. And well, first of all, what I want to do, I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit. So I want all this line work basically to be on layer 0. I don't need any of this stuff right now. So I'm going to select everything by holding shift and hit delete and say move to current layer, and I'm on layer 0. So now everything is just on layer 0. Select the information, I'm going to go to extensions, and I'm going to go to Dynascape tools and say run CAD cleanup, and everything should be made into faces for me. Now I'm going to select everything again and then right click and say reverse faces so that the front of the face is facing up. Notice too that there's an extra line there. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Alright, so now that we have faces, and that's a big part of what this is, we're going to start adding some materials onto this thing. So I'm going to hit B for the my paint bucket tool, or just select the paint bucket icon for materials. And I'm going to use that brown before that was used for the character to be my mulch color. I'm going to use the green, a light green at least, for the lawn. And I'm going to use this color here for my concrete. Just dropping these things in. Okay. also the score joints, make sure that they're rendered as well. There's an extra line there, can go like that. Extra line there. Okay, looks like everything's getting painted correctly. One last piece there. Okay. I'm also going to put just a kind of a placeholder color for these stone pavers as well. Now what I want to do is go to my window and model info, and I'm just going to purge everything that we don't need, we're not using, to make this cleaner. So I'm going to go to statistics and say purge unused. So you get all those colors that we're not using in the drawing now. And now what I want to do is edit these, excuse me, edit these colors to represent textures that we've pre-selected. So I'm going to go edit. I'm going to rename this lawn, and I'm going to say load texture. I'm going to navigate to my desktop, to the folder we created, to SketchUp, to textures, and to that lawn texture that I want to see. Now I know that I want to set this to about 2 feet. And when I do that, let me turn on my textures tab here so that you can see the texture rendered. And when you change the size of it, you change the size of the blade or whatever the image being mapped onto it. I think 2 feet's appropriate for this. So close. I'm going to keep on going. This is going to be my sidewalk layer. Again, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call it sidewalk, or concrete walkway rather. And I'm going to load. And that is going to be the concrete. Now you also have the ability to lighten things here. So my color wheel is selected, and even though I've loaded the texture, I can modify it. You can actually add color to it, or in this instance I'm just going to use the slider and make it slightly lighter. That looks good to me. Close. I'm going to go to my stone paver and load a texture. And call that my stone paver. Let's say OK. Excuse me. In this last texture, what we have so far, I'm going to edit that, and that's going to be the mulch. And I'm just going to call this mulch. And load my mulch in. And kind of zoom in. It looks a little big, so I'm just going to make that about 2 feet. Alright, and close. Alright, so I'm going to control save that now. Alright, so we have some areas that are kind of defined for us, and it's looking good. I'm going to go to my camera and make sure perspective is selected as well. Oops. Just to make it easier to see. Alright, so now I'm going to push and go to my push pull tool, or hit P for your shortcut. Oops, Control Z. And I'm just going to push these joints down 0.5 inches, just a ½ inch. Alright, that should have got that, yes. Oh, that should have been got, that didn't get it. I'm going to sample a color by using my command on my Mac, and I believe Control on PC. And you'll see the eyedropper tool appear when you're on your paint bucket tool. And I'm just going to drop that color in because I missed it. And go back to my push pull tool and just recess that in ½ inch. Keep on going, just looking for those areas. And I think there's one more here. Let's clean. And push this down 0.5 as well. Okay. So that looks good to me. Just Control save. So now I want to make some pavers for this area and do this pretty quickly. There's basically going to be 2 pavers that we're using for these modules throughout the system. I'm going to double click on this and say edit, make component, and I'm going to call this stone paver 1, and this is going to be the short. Say replace, set component axis. I'm going to go here to the corner, click again, double click, create. Now I'm going to put this on a new layer, and I'm going to call this paver. So I'm going to say proposed, this is going to be paving, and this is stone paver. Okay, that's what layer it's on now, so I'm there, and I am going to copy this by going to my move tool and holding Alt to copy that. Alright. Okay, I'm going to do something similar here. I'm just going to double click here and then go edit, make component, and I'm going to call it stone paver 2, and this is going to be the long. Oh, I didn't say replace me, so let me actually go back and change that. So edit, make component, specify to replace. This is going to be stone paver 2, and this is long. Set component axis. Set component axis again. There. Okay. I'm going to copy those as well the same way. Okay. And what I want to do now is just copy this, put that there. And I'm going to copy this over, and I know this is going to be 4 times, so I'm going to go, after I copy it, I'm just going to hit 4 and then X and enter. It's going to duplicate that. And I know that edge is going to go here, and this is going to be the same thing. This is going to be 4 times over, so 4 times. That'll take care of that. I'm actually going to delete that so I can see a little bit easier. And grab this short one and pull this down and copy it over, and I know that's going to be 4 times as well. Okay, so now I have a nice module there. I know I'm also going to have a module over here as well, so delete that so we can see it. This is going to be the long one. I'm just going to copy that over so it's there, and we should have a short one here too. Okay, short one, and I'll copy that same short one here. Okay, alright, so I have another module here, and I believe this is going to be 14 times down, so I'm going to copy those and copy from the edge, from that corner, and bring it over, and I'm just going to say 14 times. Okay, to finish that out. Alright, so now I want to build these things. I'm actually going to build the paver, so I'm going to double click on this small one. I'm going to go to my push-pull and pull up 4 inches, and I'm going to canter the edge. So now I'm going to go to my tape measure tool, or hit T or go to your tape measure. Come to the edge, make sure you're going along it. I'm just going to put in 1/8 of an inch. Do it again, 1/8 of an inch. Go to my line tool by hitting L or selecting the pencil looking tool and select that point to point. I'm going to select the face and go to Tools and say Follow Me, and click this face, and it's going to basically take that and cut that portion out for you, and that's what we want. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing to these long ones, so I'm going to double click in here. Oops. Click there, raise the face up 4 inches, come over here and 1/8 of an inch, and come down there, and that should be 1/8 of an inch as well. L for the line tool, point to point, hit my face, tools, follow me, cut that out. Alright, so as we did that, because we created a component, it just, every change we made was spread out through the other components that we placed that were flat. So we should have those modules nicely built now. Now what I want to do is put myself just on that paver layer, and turn off layer 0 for now. Okay, so I have some stuff that's not on. So I want to make sure that all of this stuff should be on the paver layer. So I'm just going to select them and make sure that they're all on the paver layer. So they should all be on pavers. All that should be on the paver layer. And another way of doing this, if you had selection tools should be installed, your shortcut, you can right click and say select active with selected material, and it'll select all those. Oh, in this instance that didn't work, did it? Select all active with selected material. Huh, that's odd. I'm going to select all the instances of that and make sure, okay, that's good. And select all the instances of that. Select all and make sure that they are also on paver. Now I will turn off layer 0 and my pavers are left behind. Just to make sure they're all on the right layer. Let me get rid of that materials for now. So I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to grab that. I'm on my stone paver layer still. I'm going to hit Control G to make it into a group, or edit group. I'll make this a group as well. Edit and make group. Okay, and also want to go edit, and I just want to delete my guides. I don't need those anymore to clean that up. Let me turn back on layer 0 so I can see everything else. Okay, and because I made that a group, I'm just going to take and copy this now and drop it in. So I'm going to go to my move tool and just copy this straight over and match the point to that point and keep it going the same way over and over again. So you're gonna have that, and just make sure it's perfectly on the point. And again. And one more time. Let me zoom in and grab that. Okay, there we go. Nice. Now what I want to do again, I'm just going to turn off, I'm going to put myself on layer 0 and turn off the pavers. And I don't need this line working here, so I'm just going to delete that. I don't need that. It's just creating extra geometries I don't need, so I'm just going to clean that up and delete it. Because we replaced all those with actually the pavers that we made. So I'm just cutting that line work out. Alright. Cutting those on as well. Now here, I'm going to cut out these, but this is going to be a custom one, and excuse me, this is going to be a custom piece as well. But we'll leave that as a reference because we need to replace those. Also what I want to do is kind of zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to double click out here and hold shift and double click out here. And make sure I'm on layer 0. I'm just going to make this a group. I have a shortcut for it. You can also go to the edit. And once I'm on that group, I'm just going to start carving this up a little bit. I'm going to say that's PR. I'm going to say that this is like land. And this is ground cover. Right. And then we'll call this mulch. Alright. Same thing here. I'm going to make that a group. And when I have that, I'm going to say PR. Land, that is a ground cover, but this is going to be lawn. Okay, so now we can turn those things on and off. Alright, so now I'm going to save that when we have now, and I'm going to grab all of my paver layers. I'm just holding shift to do that. And I hit the move tool and click a point. I'm going to hit the up arrow to lock the Z axis, and I'm just going to come down 3.75 inches just to give it a 1/4 of an inch kind of raise over top of that concrete. Just a little bit. Okay. And Control S to Control Save. Now we want to fix this brick section, or the stone piece. I'm going to double click here, double click and delete that one. I don't believe that's even there. I think that one is gone as well. This one is gone, and this one is chopped as well. Okay. So now I need to rebuild these two pieces. So I'm gonna make sure I'm layer 0. Double click. I'm just gonna make this one a group because they're gonna be different. I'm gonna make it a group. I'm gonna sample that stone color and come here. Same thing. Make a group. Use that stone color. Okay. So now I'm just going to go in here and double check that. Looks good to me. I'm double clicking here, come up 4 inches. And the same thing we did before. Just tape measure on the edge, 1/8. And 1/8. Ooh. 1/8, okay. Do my line, face, tools. Follow me, grab it, there it goes, done. Go in here, same thing, raise it 4 inches, tape measure, 1/8, it should be 1/8 as well, should just match up with the other one, and tools, follow me, there we go. Now I'm going to grab those and Control X to cut them out. And I'm going to double click in here into the actual group that I created, and Control Shift V to paste in place to put them in place. And hit M for my move tool. The same thing I did before. Lock my Z axis by doing my up arrow. And I just want to knock those down. Say 3.75. So I want to knock those down 3.75. And of course that's not working. So let's try that again. To grab these and just pull them down. .75. Okay, it should line up with that perfectly. Alright, so that looks good. So you fix that, and then I'm going to go edit and just delete guides. Get those guides gone. So we have that custom piece kind of cut out there, so that's easy. Save this. Close that out again. Now what I'm going to do is bring over my, my plant materials, or site furnishings. Let's do site furnishings first. So I'm going to go import, and I'm going to go site furnishings. It should line up perfectly. Alright, those came in cleanly. I'm going to click in here, I'm going to double click, and I'm just going to reload these. These are very easy. So this is why we make them blocks in AutoCAD. So now I'm going to go here. I'm going to navigate to my desktop, the folder we created, SketchUp, go into my components, and this is going to be my granite bench, and double click that, and it will be replaced with the granite bench. So nice and clean. Now what we want to do is reload the green screen. So I'm going to click on the green screen and go reload. And navigate to SketchUp, the component, and green screen. There we go. And finally we'll reload this last one. And I want to show you all something. Again, desktop, make sure we're in the right place. Okay, I'll show you that. So these steel bands are coming in, but way over here, they're in the wrong place. So sometimes you get components like that. You want to try to clean your stuff up ahead of time. At least that's what I suggest in creating your own component folder for the project. But sometimes this just happens. So I'm going to Control Z to go back. And rather than reloading it here, I'm actually going to escape and go open. And I'm going to navigate to that. To make sure I'm in the right place again, and I want that steel band. Okay. So I'm going to take this and make it a group. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come back to my model. click in here, and I'm going to Control V to kind of place it. Zoom in. Looks like it's going to align like that. Okay. Great. Alright, so I'm just going to Control A to do all, and then hold Shift and select the beam and hit delete, and that'll delete that line work. Alright, and I have my pieces here. Double clicking here again and just use my move tool and hit the up arrow to lock the Z axis, and just come down. Then I'm going to come up a half, lock the Z axis again, just come up 1/8 of an inch. Okay, there we go. And I'll kind of blink out of that. So there goes our site furnishing. Now, also that my stone pavers are a little dark, so I'm going to go to them. And it looks like it's that one, and edit. I'm just going to lighten them up some. Alright, so it looks better to me. Alright, and there you go. There goes the ground plane and site furnishings at least done. Pull that up together. And now it's time to, well, we could also adjust that. I think that granite might be a little dark too. Maybe we'll adjust that. Just a smidgen. Okay. Alright. Looks pretty good to me. Now I'm going to bring in my plant material. I'm just going to delete that for now. And I'm going to turn off my my green screen too, some of these elements that I don't need anymore, to see right now at least. And then I'm going to go import and navigate to my desktop again. AutoCAD this time, the W block. And this is going to be the plant materials. So this will come in and it will import all of the layers and the blocks basically. And now we can begin to reload, so I'm just going to double click in that. Oh, wrong one. Let me turn off the mulch. So it makes it easier. So I'm going to click on this and right click. I'm going to go reload. And I'm going to go to my desktop and make sure I'm in the right place again, my SketchUp components. And I believe this is the, this keeps on snapping off for some reason. This is the Zelkova, so I'm going to find the Zelkova and double click that, and it should just reload for me. Great. Okay. Now this one looks a little weird because it's sitting right on the shrub, so I'm just going to move that over a little bit. Just to modify it, just a smidgen. Okay. So I have my Zelkovas in. So as I put these plant materials in, I like to just turn them off. Just makes it easier. If you get your model, it's too many elements in it, too many faces, it begins really to slow it down in SketchUp right now. So go back into this. These are the ilexes. Reload. And there it is. So those will come in, and we'll adjust these in a little bit too. So I'll turn that off. And that's an auto Lucan, so I'll reload. That's those. And I'll turn those off. Come out here, and Alex Amatoros, reload. Another Alex Amatoro. Okay. Again, I'll turn those off. Alright. keep it going. Joe Pie. That. And those will come in, great, and I'll turn those off immediately and go here. There's a Hamlin reload. Hamlin. And those will come in, and I'll turn those off as well. There. And this last one. North Wind. Now I'll do these first and we'll kind of go down the old well. Not even that. Let me go to one more. I will do those first. So I am going to right click and say instances and say select all. This is, you have this capability with your extension that you have to install, selection toys. And then I'll do another extension. It's Chris Fulmer, and this is scale and rotate multiple. And we'll do randomly, and we're just going to vary the size of these. So I'm going to say maybe it doesn't get too much smaller, but maybe it gets a little bit bigger. Just to vary the size of those, and I will turn those off. Put that back on. Do the same thing for these. And instances, select all. Extensions, Chris Fulmer. I'll go ahead and put 5 and again maybe 1.3. Okay. Maybe we do that again just to make them a little bit bigger. Chris Fulmer. So maybe I do the 0.9. 8 this time, and maybe I do 1.6. Whatever. Okay, there we go. And I'll turn those off. That. Same thing for these. Select all. Chris Fulmer. 0.8 and it's too big. 1.35. Okay, it looks good to me. Alex's instances, select all. Same thing over and over again. Unfortunately, 1.6. Okay, I'll keep on going. I will grab these AutoCADs. Same thing. Save a little bit of variance and turn it off. Now these just need to get bigger in general, so I'm going to double click in this and Control A. I have a shortcut for scale, but you want to use your scale. I'm grabbing that midpoint and just kind of scaling these things up. Oh. There they go. Want them to kind of touch a little bit. Okay. Maybe a little bit bigger than that. Okay, I'm holding shift when I'm on that midpoint too. That looks good to me. Then I'm just gonna, again, instances, select all. And, okay, cool. Alright, so I'll turn that off. Zelkovas. Make sure instances select all. Randomly, what we 0.98. I don't want them to get much smaller, and maybe they go 1.45. Okay. Alright, so let me turn the mulch back on as well. And see what we've created here. Turn everything back on. And you'll notice as you turn each element back on, your model will run a little bit slower. Okay. See if these steel strips turn. If I see some anomalies popping up, so I'm going to try to address that now. Okay, so I got some of those on a weird steel strip layer. It's odd, but we will fix that. So again, just turn off the things that you know you can turn off. So we'll turn those off. That'll help. And that'll help. Okay. So this needs to go on the AutoCAD layer. For some reason it's on the wrong layer, so I'll just put that. Actually, I'll put the geometry on 0. So I'm going to go to that and just delete that and say move to current layer. Okay, so now it's nice and clean. Also, I'm going to go back to my windows and model info. Purge unused. Fix problems. Okay. You want nice clean models. And here you go. So I can kind of zoom in here. Into the space, and let's turn back on the green screen. We'll turn back on our Joe Pie and North Winds. Okay. And I'll click on presentation, and it should give us a nice little shot of the space with shadows. There we go, and that's what we've created. And then from this also, let me just clean these windows up. And from this you can shoot shots now and do shadow studies and take this into our rendering programming and produce really high quality video and stills. Alright, so let me do a zoom extents. Zoom out some. I'm going to select the whole thing and make sure that my windows are back on. I'm on layer 0, and I'm just going to make that the whole thing a group as well, because we're going to end up inserting this into the context model. So I'll make that all a group. Okay. And I will save that. And once that's saved, you want to just upload this file and turn the shadows. I'll go back to working actually right now so you can see it a little bit faster. Once you have this thing saved, you want to go here, upload it to Blackboard to be graded along with your self-assessment rubric. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Either send me an email, leave me a comment, or just come grab me in my office. See you in studio.